So let's talk about creating object relationships. Go back to Salesforce. We're going to go to the Object Manager. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a field between our book and our students. So the field is going to be created on the child record. So between books and students, the child record is the book. So we're going to go down to our book custom object. On the left side, we're going to select fields and relationships. Top right side, we're going to select the new button for a new field. And we're going to select a lookup relationship. We're going to select next at the bottom. Now we have to say what it's going to be looking up to. Well, it's going to be looking up to the student. The student is going to be my parent record. The book is the child record. I'm going to click next. Then we need to select our label for our field. The label student works just fine. So we'll leave that for the label as well as the field name. The help text, this is what your end user would see. So if you feel like they're going to need additional help creating or putting the value in this field, you can write some additional text here. So what we're going to set here is what to do if the lookup record is deleted. We're just going to clear the value of the field, but we're not going to get rid of the record. And this is a new feature. Add the field to existing custom report types that contain this entity. This is one of my favorite new features. Before, when you created a new field and you already had custom report types created, by default, it wasn't automatically added to the custom report type. Now, by putting a check mark here, you can do that. But you'll go deeper into fields in another module. So we're going to click next. This is field level security. So we're going to make this field visible on all of these profiles. I'll just take the default here. If I scroll back up, you'll see I can also make it just read only. I'm going to take the defaults. I'm going to select next. And it's asking me, do I want to add this to the page layout? I only have one page layout right now, so I'm going to say next. And that related list label, I'll leave it at books. And since I'm going to click save and new since I need another field. Now I need to create a field between classes and school. So I need to go to that object. I'm going to go to the object manager. And the classes would be the child record. And because the school can have many classes, or classrooms, I should say, and the classroom can only have one school though. So classrooms, fields on the left side, new across the top. This was going to be a master detail because we want this to be a required field. Select next. It's going to look up to our school. I can also start typing in school and it will jump me down. I'll select next. I'll leave the field label and field name as school. This one on the sharing settings, I'll put it at read write. I also want to add this field to the existing any existing custom report types. And again, you'll dive into fields later in another module. Select next. We'll keep the default for our field level security. Select next. We only have the one page layout, so we'll leave it on that page layout. Next. Related list classrooms is a perfect name, so we'll leave that as is and save. All right, so now we've created a relationship between the classroom and the school and the book and the students. Now we need to create our junction objects so we can have that many-to-many relationship. So we're going to go back to Object Manager tab across the top. Top right, we're going to say Create Custom Object. We'll call this registration. Registrations. We're going to add, we're going to leave this. Actually, we're going to put this as an auto number. Put R brackets. And we'll just leave this as a 1 as well. We'll allow reports and activities and field tracking and chatter. It's also in deployment. Now remember, later on, you're going to, when you want this to go live, you will have to come back and change this. We'll make it searchable. We'll add our notes. And we'll go ahead and add a tab for this. I click Save. Our object is already selected. So for our tab style, I'm going to click the magnifying glass. And here I'll select the computer. Select Next. I'll take my defaults for the profiles, as well as the custom apps, and save. Now we have to create our second junction object. So you're going to go to Object Manager. Create at the top right, custom object. This is the one that's going to be between our classrooms and our classes. We're going to call this room assignments. Also make this an auto number. For this one, I'm just going to use, let's see, we'll use A for assignment, my bracket, 0, my bracket. I'll start this with 1 as well. Allow reports, field tracking, and development. Make it searchable. Allow notes and attachments. We'll go ahead and create our tab. We're going to click Save. Our tab style, we're going to click on the magnifying glass. And for this, I'm going to pick the square. Select Next, take my defaults, Next, and save. I'm also going to take my defaults for my custom apps. Now I have to go back to these new junction objects and add my master detail relationships. So back to Object Manager. I'm going to go down to Registration. I'm going to add a new field. So I'm going to go to Fields and Relationships on the left. Select New across the top. This is going to be a master detail relationship. Select Next. This first one for registration, I'll select Students, and I can just start typing. Select Student. Next. Leave my field label and name the same. I'll take the defaults on this. Next, I'll take my defaults for my profiles, for my page layout. And also my related list label registration will work here. I'm going to do save and new. It's also going to be another master detail relationship. This time it's going to be class. So I'll keep class for my field label and name. I'll take my defaults. I'll select next. Take my defaults for the profiles, as well as the page layout, and save. All right, so now I need to add my 2 master details for my room assignments. So I'm going to go back to my object manager. I go down to room assignment. On the left side, I select fields and relationships. I'm going to select new. Also going to be a master detail. Select next. This is going to be classroom. I'm going to take my defaults on the rest of these. Save and do. I've got one more to create on this. It's also going to be a master detail. So I've already done classroom. This will be classes. Let me go back. Class. Take my defaults. Select next, keep my defaults here. So for the rest of these, I'm just going to take the defaults and save. So our related lists have already been added to our page layouts. We just need to make sure that under that related list, that it's going to say the student's name or the class name. So let's go back to Object Manager. Let's go down to Class. Page layouts on the left. Select the page layout. So when it loads up, what we want to do is we want to look at the related list that says registration. So across the top here on the left side, I'm going to click on related list. It's going to jump me down to registration. And I'm going to click on the little wrench right over registration. And I'm going to add the student name here. So student name. Click OK. I'm going to save across the top. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but on the other side. So right now I'm on class. Now I'm going to go to student. Page layout. Select the one that's there. Jump down to related list. Go down to registration. Click on the little wrench. And on this one, we want to see the class name. We'll add it in. Take our defaults. Click OK. And save. Now we need to do this for our classrooms and our classes. So let's go back to Object Manager. I'm going to go down to Classrooms. Page layout. Select our page layout. Jump down to Related List. This one is room assignment. We're going to select the wrench, and we want to be able to see the class name. We're going to take the defaults. We're going to save. Back to Object Manager. This time we're going to go down to class. Page layout on the left. Click on the page layout and jump down to related lists on the left side there. Go down to room assignment. Click on the wrench. And this time we want to see class room name. So we'll add that over. Click OK and save. At this point, you would go and you would add all the other fields that you want to add to these objects. That's covered in another module. But let's go take a look at this. So we're on the dots at the top left. You're going to click on that. And let's type in registration. This is going to bring out to our registration tab. We can click the new button at the top right. And it's asking me for a student, which I haven't created any yet, but it lets me create one new student. Same thing for class. I haven't created any classes yet, but it allows me to create one from here. New class. History. And save. So now I have created my junction object here. And when I click on the name of the student, under the related list, I'll be able to see the name of the class. If I go back, click on this registration here, and I click on the name of the class, and I go to my related list on the left side, I'll see the name of the student. Now for room assignment, very similar. If I go to the right side here under more, there's a drop down. I can select room assignment from the menu, select new. So student, I can use my same student or I can use a new student. And I can use my same class. And save. And save. So now if I click on the name of the student, I go to my related list.